In the ancient kingdom of Eldoria, dragons once filled the skies. They were magnificent, wise, and the guardians of ancient magic. But a great war between humans and dragons changed everything. The king, fearing their power, declared all dragons dangerous and outlawed them. The majestic creatures vanished from the world, their roars replaced by silence. Or so everyone believed. In a quiet, forgotten corner of Eldoria, a lonely orphan boy named Arlo lived a simple life. He was a helper in the Grand Royal Library Tower, a place filled with stories he wasn't supposed to read. Arlo was quiet, endlessly curious, and had a heart full of kindness. His days were spent dusting old shelves, but his nights were for secret adventures among the pages of forbidden legends about the dragons of old. One stormy night, as rain lashed against the tower windows and thunder shook the ancient stone, Arlo was exploring a dusty, unused section of the library. He noticed a bookshelf that was slightly out of place. Behind it, a draft whispered through a crack in the wall. Pushing the heavy shelf aside, he revealed a hidden passage, its entrance dark and inviting. A faint, ethereal blue light pulsed from deep within. His curiosity won over his fear, and he stepped inside. The passage led him down a spiral staircase into a mysterious circular chamber. The air hummed with a gentle energy, and the walls were covered in faded carvings of soaring dragons. At the very center of the room, resting on a pedestal of stone, was a large, smooth egg. It shimmered with a soft, internal glow, its surface covered in delicate golden swirls. Tiny cracks of light pulsed across its shell like a captured heartbeat. Arlo's breath caught in his throat. He had read about this in the Forbidden books. It was impossible, yet here it was, the last dragon egg. Drawn by an unseen force, Arlo gently reached out and touched the egg. It was warm, alive. As his fingers made contact, the light within the egg flared brightly, and the cracks widened. The shell broke apart, not with a sharp crack, but with a soft, musical chime. From the fractured pieces, a tiny creature emerged, blinking in the new light. It was a dragon, no bigger than a kitten, with scales that shimmered like liquid silver and eyes the color of deep, clear crystals. Arlo expected fire, a roar, something fearsome. Instead, the tiny dragon sneezed, and a puff of soft blue sparks floated into the air, feeling warm and kind against his skin. The little dragon looked up at Arlo, tilted its head and chirped, nuzzling against his hand. In that single moment, a bond was forged. The dragon saw Arlo not as a threat, but as family. Arlo, who had always been alone, named her Luma. Their peaceful existence was short-lived. Magic, especially dragon magic, leaves a ripple in the world. Word of Luma's hatching spread like wildfire, carried on whispers and rumors. The kingdom's most ruthless hunters who saw a dragon as the ultimate prize. Greedy treasure seekers who believed Luma was a key to unimaginable wealth. The royal knights bound by duty to enforce the king's law. And even the king's dark wizards who craved her ancient power all learned that a forbidden dragon had returned. They descended upon the capital, their intentions unified by a single goal, to capture the dragon. Knowing they couldn't stay, Arlo and Luma fled the library tower under the cloak of darkness. Their journey for survival began. They became fugitives, hunted at every turn. Their path led them through Eldoria's most magical and dangerous places. They navigated enchanted forests where the trees whispered secrets, and the path shifted beneath their feet. They found sanctuary in glowing caves filled with luminous crystals that sang a soft, ancient song. They crossed treacherous floating cliffs that hung suspended in the clouds, and explored abandoned ruins where the ghosts of the past still lingered. Everywhere they went, Arlo learned more about Luma and her unique magic. Her powers weren't of destruction, but of creation and understanding. She could sense the emotions of all living things, feeling their joy, their sorrow, and their fear. Her gentle, sparkling breath could mend a broken wing or soothe a troubled heart. With her crystal blue eyes, she could reveal hidden truths, showing Arlo illusions for what they were and unveiling paths that were invisible to others. She was a creature of life, not of war. During their travels through the ruins of an old dragon temple, they stumbled upon an ancient prophecy carved into a stone tablet. The inscription glowed as Luma drew near. It read, "When the last dragon awakens, The pure of heart must guide it to Dragon Mountain, where ancient magic sleeps. For the dragon's heart holds not the fire of ruin, but the light of renewal. Arlo finally understood. Their journey wasn't just about running. It was about reaching a destination. Dragon Mountain? But the mountain was on the other side of the kingdom, a perilous peak guarded by riddles, magical illusions, and forgotten spirits who tested the worthiness of all who dared approach. With the hunters and wizards closing in, Arlo and Luma found they were not entirely alone. They formed a small, unlikely fellowship of outcasts. They were joined by a runaway princess who had grown tired of the kingdom's cruel laws and sought a better world. A wise and ancient forest guardian, who had seen the Great War and knew the truth about the dragons, offered them guidance. And they even befriended a rogue wizard, a man filled with regret for his role in the war long ago, who now sought to atone for his past by protecting the very magic he once helped to banish. Each of them saw in Luma not a monster, but a symbol of hope. Together, they faced the trials of Dragon Mountain. They solved the riddles of the spirit guardians, navigated the labyrinth of illusions with Luma's truth-seeing eyes, and proved the purity of their hearts. Finally, they reached the mountain's summit. At the peak stood a circle of ancient glowing stones. As Luma stepped into the center, Arlo placed his hand over her heart, just as the prophecy had guided. A surge of energy flowed between them. At that moment, Arlo unlocked the ancient magic hidden within Luma's heart. It wasn't a weapon. It was a wave of healing energy, a golden light that erupted from the mountain and washed over the entire kingdom of Eldoria. The light touched the barren lands, causing flowers to bloom where there had been only ash. It cleansed the hatred from people as hearts and shattered the dark enchantments that had fueled the kingdom's fear for so long. As the light pulsed, Luma grew, her silver scales shining, her wings spreading wide until she was a majestic, magnificent dragon, every bit as grand as the legends described. The curse of hatred between humans and dragons was finally broken. Down below, the people of Eldoria looked up in awe, not in fear. The hunters lowered their bows, the knights sheathed their swords, and the king, watching from his balcony, finally saw the truth. The light from the mountain had shown him the error of his ways. He understood that dragons were never monsters. They were protectors, and their magic was meant to heal, not to harm. Peace returned to Eldoria, more profound and true than ever before. The king revoked the old law, welcoming the age of dragons back into the world. And Arlo, the quiet orphan boy from the library tower, was no longer lonely. He became the first in a new line of dragon guardians tasked with preserving the bond between humans and dragons. And Luma, the last dragon who had chosen him, remained by his side, her crystal blue eyes full of love, a constant companion in a world they had healed together. Their adventures were just beginning. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you won't miss our next adventure. See you next time!